Good day, viewers. You are welcome to another edition of Business Studies. I want to believe that you are having a wonderful time at home. My name is Beatrice Oloyede, and I'm welcoming you again. Last time we met, the last time in the class, we discussed about trade, and we were able to define trade. We also discussed the importance of trade, and we went ahead to look at the forms of trade. Now, can someone quickly remind me just two importance of trade we discussed at home? I know some of you are saying it creates job opportunities and it helps in improving the people's standard of living. Now, the last time I gave you an assignment, 2 questions for your assignment. The first question, I asked you to write 3 countries Nigeria trade with. On your screen, you can see some countries that Nigeria trades with. We have Brazil, we have China. Nigeria also trades with Japan, Germany, USA, that's United States of America, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and a lot of them. For the second question, you were asked to list 5 aids to trade. 5 aids to trade. So the aids to trade are banking, communication, insurance, tourism, advertising, transportation, and warehousing. Those are the aids to trade. So any one of them that you have written, you can check your answer. Without wasting much of our time, we want to move to the topic for today. And like I promised you in the last class, that we'll be looking at aids to trade. So today, our topic is aids to trade. There is a usual saying that a tree cannot make a forest. And this implies that in all our endeavors in life, we need the help of others. No wonder God Himself at creation invited God the Son and God the Holy Spirit when it was time to create the first man. And even after the creation of the man, He realized the fact that the man could not live alone, that he needed a helpmate. So He created a woman for him to serve as helpmate. The same thing is applicable in the business world. Even in businesses, there is need for help. There are some services that help trading activities. And that is leading us to the topic for today, which is, again, aids to trade. Looking at the topic, you can see there are 2 keywords. The 2 keywords are aids and trade. And we have been able to learn the meaning of trade. We said trade is the exchange of goods and services for money or credit. Now, what do we mean by aid? The synonym for aid is help. So, in another word, we can say aids to trade means help to trade. And like I said earlier on, it means that trading activities need some help. So, when we say aids to trade are the services that facilitate trade. Like I've told you, without some services, trade may not be possible. Traders may not find it easy in carrying out their duties as trader. So there are some services that help or make trade possible, and that is what we are going to discuss today. So this aids to trade can also be referred to as ancillary to trade. Ancillary to trade. In fact, I can say that one can also call them support services. They can also be called support services because they support trade. They help trade. Now, in the class today, we are going to focus our attention on the definition of aids to trade, and that is what we've just done. Also, we are going to list and explain the aids to trade, and we are going to discuss the importance of these aids to trade even to our trading activities. So those are the objectives of the class today. So these aids to trade include advertising, banking, communication, insurance, tourism, transportation, and warehousing. How many are they? They are all 7. Let's take them one after the other. The first one we are discussing is advertising. And I want to believe that word is not strange to us. Advertising. What do we mean by advertising? Advertising is an aid to trade that informs the public about the existence and usefulness of goods and services. I take it again. Advertising is an aid to trade that informs the public about the existence and usefulness of goods and services. And that means that when goods are produced or service is rendered, maybe in a particular environment, if those goods and services are not made known, they are not made known to the general public, then it means that it's only the people in that environment that will be aware of the fact that there are goods and services in the market. So people that will be buying the goods and that will be enjoying the services will be limited to the people in that environment. And that is why advertising is very important. So advertising makes people to know that certain goods and services are available in the market. These goods we are talking about can be the existing one and even new ones that are just been introduced into the market. For example, this school on the air has been advertised by the mother in Israel in this RCCG mission, and that is why viewers at home are aware of the fact that there is something like this going on this television station. So that is to explain to us what we mean by advertising. Now, if we have been looking at some advertisements, maybe on television, you will see that when goods are advertised, the usefulness of the product or the goods are being advertised too. The producer will want people to know how to use those goods. And not only the usefulness, even the usage. They want people to know the importance of using the goods. So that's what we mean by advertising. Why do we say advertising is an aid to trade? In what area does it help trade? Number one, it creates awareness about goods and services. Like I've told you before, people will be aware of the fact that there are goods available in the market. And definitely, once awareness is created about goods and services, people will want to buy. So another importance of advertising to trade is that it leads to increase in demand for goods and services. People will demand more for such goods that are advertised. And another importance of advertising to trade is that because people are now demanding more for those goods and services, it will definitely increase the sales of the organization. So advertising increases sales of the organization. Looking at your screen, you see some means of advertisement being displayed. Goods can be advertised on the internet. They can be advertised on television, newspaper, radio, magazines, and billboards. There are many of them. We move to banking. That is another aid to trade. We know money answereth all things. Without money, it may not be easy for anyone to establish a business. Even when you struggle to establish the business, at one point or the other, there may be need for money, even to continue in running the business. And that is where banking comes in. I want to believe you might have visited some banks around you before, especially the commercial banks. What did you go to the bank to do? I know you are saying to pay him money and maybe to withdraw money for your parents. When you go to the bank to pay him money, we say that the bank accepts deposit from you. That money you have taken to the bank is deposit that the bank is accepting from you. So one of the importance of banking to trade is that it accepts deposit and safeguard it. It accepts deposit and safeguard it. But it is not only deposit, it is not only money that bank accepts from their customers. They accept some valuables like certificate, like will, like deed. They keep it on behalf of their customers. So after a day's sales, all the money realized that day will be safe when you take it to the bank. So banking helps trade by accepting deposit and safeguarding it, even some valuables. Apart from that, banks or banking always help too in lending money out for business activities. Like I said earlier on, a business may run out of cash. If the owner of that business has kept money in the bank before, he can go to his bank to ask for either loan or overdraft. So banks lend out money to businesses so that the business will continue to exist. And apart from that, banking also help trade by acting as agents for payment. They help trade by acting as agents for payment. For example, I can give instruction to my bank that certain amount of money should be paid from my account periodically. So I don't need to stress myself. So banking helps trade. And still on banking, banking also make payment possible. It makes payment possible through the use of checks, through the use of POS, point of sales, and through the use of ATM machine, automated teller machine. So I don't need to go into the banking hall, queuing there, wasting my time. all in the name of I want to pay my customers. In fact, I can transfer money to my customers on my phone without leaving my house before. I want you to look at your screen and you see a check specimen. Maybe peradventure there is any one of you who has not seen a check before. That is a check that can be used in paying money to your customers. You can even see on the screen a POS machine as well as ATM machine. Making use of your debit card, you can pay money when goods are bought, either through the POS or you make transfer on the ATM. So we move to the third aid to trade, which is communication. Communication. To communicate means to tell. It is not possible that you run a business in isolation. It is not possible. You may have some business partners that you need to have deal about the business with them. You may have, in fact, not you may, you will have suppliers that will be supplying goods to you. Definitely, you will also have customers that you may need to pass across one information or the other to them. It is not necessary or compulsory for you to travel all the way from Nigeria, maybe for example to Gambia, all in the name of you want to have a business deal with your business partner. Or because you want to make an inquiry from your supplier, you are thinking of how do you get to Brazil, for example. Right there in your room, you can communicate. So communication is the exchange of information or message between two or more people. Communication is the exchange of information or message between two or more people. So why do we say communication is an aid to trade? Like I've told you, business deals can be agreed upon by business partners, not minding the distance. Also, communication will make it possible for buyers and sellers to stay in touch. They stay in touch in any part of the world they are. They can communicate. And again, communication also helps trade by enhancing quick and safe delivery of documents. I may need to send one document or the other to my business partner or to my supplier. Communication makes it very easy. With the use of a computer system, I can send information to anybody, anywhere all over the world, making use of my computer system. Even my phone, my mobile phone, it can be through the use of email. I can use SMS messages. I can even use WhatsApp messages. So communication makes trade possible. From your screen, you can see the pictures of a mobile phone. And right there, you see WhatsApp message being sent to a business partner. The computer system is also there, which serves as a means of communication. We move on to the next aid to trade, and that is insurance. Insurance. Do you know that this life is full of ups and downs? As you are expecting something good for yourself or your business, you should be expecting the other side of it too, because that is just life for you and there is nothing you can do about it. So a wise businessman will make provision for such occurrences. And so insurance can be defined as the provision which a businessman makes against the occurrence of any future loss. Insurance can be defined as the provision that a businessman makes against the occurrence of a future loss. You have to provide for a time when there will be maybe a negative occurrence in your business. This future loss can be through fire outbreak, it can be losses through maybe vehicle accident, it can be losses through maybe misappropriation of fund by employees. So looking at your screen, you see these pictures showing someone that is trying to take away money from the business, misappropriation of fund by employees. You can see burglary too, somebody trying to burgle into a building. Fire is there too, fire outbreak, and you can see the picture of a vehicle accident. All this needs to be provided against. So I want to quickly give you an assignment before we call it a day. And this assignment, for the benefit of those of you in JS3 who are preparing for your external examination, is in the objective form. So you can see the assignments now on your screen. And the truth about this topic is that we need to be supportive. We need to be supportive in all that we do, especially godly things. So I want to tell you that before we meet next time, you should make judicious use of your time. Until that time, I say bye for now. Thank you.
Good day, students. You are welcome to another edition of economics class. And I hope you've been using the creative power you have in you. In our last edition, we introduced a topic which is theory of production. Theory of production. And from that class, we were able to discuss the meaning of production, the types of production, and also the factors of production. I hope you can remember the factors of production, which are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. And also from our last class, we emphasized that we can trace production back to the work of creation. We can trace production back to the work of creation. And God gave us the mandate to continue that creation work. And that was why it said, be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful and multiply. And last class also, we gave you assignments on the factors of production. That is, you are to state the functions of entrepreneur. Functions of entrepreneur. And the second one is that you are to differentiate between fixed capital and current capital. So let's quickly look at the solution to the assignments. Functions of entrepreneur. You have them on your screen. The first one is it takes vital decision that has to do with the business. Second, it provides the capital needed for production. Then the third one is that it coordinates the factors of production to produce goods and services. Another one is that the entrepreneur bears the risk of the business. And another one is that it undertakes research that will increase productivity. And the second assignment is on fixed capital and current capital. You were asked to differentiate between fixed capital and current capital. We can describe fixed capital as the type of capital that is not used up in the production process. The type of capital that is not used up in the production process. And we have examples of such capital as building, plants and machinery, equipment, etc. Then for current capital, we describe it as the type of capital that is used up in the production process, or that is used for day-to-day running of the business. So I hope you can think of such capital wherever you are sitting now, that, oh, what are those things that we use for day-to-day running of the business? Examples are raw materials. Raw materials, we have another one, cash at hand, etc. So that is the solution to the assignment. So today we want to go a little bit further to look at another aspect of production. And today we will be discussing concepts of total products, average products, and marginal products. I will take that again. Concepts of total, average, and marginal productivity. Total, average, and marginal productivity. But before we go into the concepts one after the other, at the end of this class, you should be able to differentiate between fixed factor and variable factor. You should be able to differentiate between fixed factor and variable factor. And also, you should be able to describe total products, average products, and marginal products. Total products, average products, and marginal products. And the third lesson objective for this class is that you must be able to state the formula for total products, average products, and marginal products. And of course, you must be able to calculate total products, average products, and marginal products in a given exercise. So back to what we are here to discuss. I said the topic again is, the subtopic is concept of total average and marginal productivity. So what is productivity? What is productivity? Productivity is a term used in measuring the amount of output that can be produced from a given amount of inputs. I'll take that again. Productivity is a term used in measuring the amount of outputs. The outputs in brackets are what? Goods and services that can be produced from a given amount of inputs. The inputs are land, labor, and capital. Land, labor, and capital. I know you may be thinking that, oh, these are parts of the factors of production. Why don't we have entrepreneur there? Why? That is a good one. The entrepreneur from the assignment, I said, coordinates other factors of production. And the other factors of production aside the entrepreneur are labor, capital, and land. Labor, capital, and land. So it is the entrepreneur that will combine these factors in their rightful proportion to produce goods and services. To produce goods and services. And these factors can be fixed factor and it can also be variable factor. It can be fixed factor and it can also be variable factor. How do I mean by fixed factor? Fixed factor is a factor of production that is constant. Please take note of that word. That is constant throughout the production process. That is constant throughout the production process. If you want to produce goods or service, or you want to render service, if you want to increase your productivity or you want to reduce your productivity, there are some factors of production that will be constant, whether you are increasing or you are reducing your productivity. So these factors, we refer to them as fixed factor. And the other type, we call them variable factors. Variable factors. We know the word variable is from vary. Vary. So we can refer to variable factors as the factors of production that vary with the level of output. How do I mean by that? If you want to increase your output, you need to increase those factors. And if you want to reduce your output as a producer or an entrepreneur, you also have to reduce those factors. So those factors, they vary with the level of output. I hope we can differentiate between fixed factor and variable factor now. Very good. So let's move to the first concept. The first concept we want to describe is total product. Is total product. And I know this word total, we are all familiar with it. Total product. So we refer to total product as the total or aggregate quantity of goods produced at a particular time from a given amount of input. Again, is the total or aggregate quantity of goods produced at a particular time from a given amount of inputs. Everything together that you are producing from a particular input. For example, assuming that we have a party now and we have a wedding planner planning for the party, and the wedding planner needs to produce or to give us 10 pots of rice. 10 pots of rice. For the planner to get 10 pots of rice, let's say that we have 5 cooks. That is, 5 cooks can prepare 10 pots of rice. So what is the total product of the 5 cooks? Don't forget, the 5 cooks here, they are what? Labor. What is the total product of the 5 cooks? The total product is what? 10 coolers of rice. So that is our total product. And we have the formula as average product, which is AP times labor or capital. Average product, which is AP times labor or capital. Why do I have labor or capital here? Because they are the variable factors needed for production. Variable factors needed for production. And on your screen now, you can see total product curve on your screen. Total product curve. On your x-axis, you have the unit of variable factors. And the factor we are using here is labor. So that is why you have labor there. And on your y-axis, we have total product. We have total product. So you have to take note of this when you are drawing your curve. The second concept we want to discuss today is average product. Average product. I know this word is not new to us because I hope we all love mathematics. And I know that when you see the word average, something will come to your mind. Average product. So what is average product? Average product refers to the quantity of goods produced per unit. That's what per. P-E-R. Quantity of goods produced per unit of variable factor. Quantity of goods produced per unit of variable factor. I will also use the example I used earlier, that I said a wedding planner needs 10 coolers of rice. And we have 5 cooks that can prepare that 10 coolers of rice. Now, how many coolers can a cook prepare? How many coolers? So how do we arrive at that? We have the formula of our average product to be total product, TP, divided by variable factors. Don't forget, the factors can be labor or capital, divided by the variable factors. So from that example, we have 10 coolers of rice and we have 5 cooks. How many coolers will a cook be able to prepare? So we are going to have 10 divided by 5. 10 is the total product and 5 is the number of cook, labor. 10 divided by 5, and that will give us 2 coolers per cook, per unit. 2 coolers per cook. And on your screen now, you can see the graph for average product, or the curve for average product. Like I said earlier, please take notes when you are drawing your graph. Your x-axis is for the unit of variable factor. And the variable factor I'm using in that graph is labor. That variable factor can also be capital. Then your y-axis is where you have your average product. Average product. I hope we are getting it now. Okay, let's move to the next one, which is marginal product. Marginal product. The word marginal is from margin. Margin. And what is the meaning of margin? or as a math student, if you are asked to calculate the margin between this and this, what are you asked to do? You are asked to look at the difference between this and this, depending on the figures you have. So also marginal in economics. When you hear the word marginal, something must come to your mind. The first thing that must come to your mind is additional or extra. Additional or extra. So we describe marginal products as the addition to total output. Addition to the total output brought by the employment of additional units or variable factors. Addition to the total output brought by the employment of additional units or variable factors. You can see that I used additional like twice in that definition. One with total output and the other one with variable factor. So I'll go back to the example I gave earlier. 10 coolers of rice. And we have 5 cooks that can make that 10 coolers of rice. So maybe the planner now noticed that, oh, these 10 coolers of rice cannot go round. So I need to increase it. Maybe the planner now increased that 10 coolers of rice to 20 coolers of rice. And we know that 5 cooks may not be able to produce that. So the planner will also increase the number of cooks. Assuming we now have the new number of cooks to be what? 10 cooks. That is, 10 cooks can now prepare 20 coolers of rice. But before, we had 5 cooks that can prepare 10 coolers of rice. So can you look at the margin between the number of cooks and the number of coolers? Before we had 10 coolers, but now we have 20 coolers. Then for cooks, before we had 5 cooks, but now we have 10 cooks. So can you spot the difference between them, the margin? So that will take us to the formula of marginal product. And for our marginal product, we have equals change in total product over change in variable factors. I hope you can still remember the variable factors. The factors can be labor and it can be capital, labor or capital. On your screen now, you can see the graph of the variable factor. In our next class, we'll be able to solve some exercises together so that we look at the relationship between total products, marginal products, and variable products. Total products, marginal products, and variable products. But before the next class, I want to give you this assignment. And what is the assignment? State the relationship between total product, average product, and marginal product. And like I said earlier, your creative ability, make sure you're using it. Do something, create something. Don't forget, production is all about creating and distributing. So create something even while you are at home, and I pray that you'll be able to use that creative ability very well. Till we meet next time, stay safe and God bless.